nuevos integrantes del nuevo episodio de Star Wars. Thank you for having me, guys.
Thank you.
So you have now become part of a pretty big franchise, like one of the most iconic. But when you were kids, did you imagine your adult life to be like this, or what did you want it to be as a child?
I wanted to work with animals.
With animals?
So
okay.
I guess Star Wars fulfilled that because there were loads of different sort of creatures in it.
On set.
Like
Yeah. Yeah. I never imagined things to be like this, no.
Okay.
No.
What did
know.
you want to be when you were little?
An actor.
All the time.
All the time. I got my first scholarship to theatre school when I was 10.
Kind of the same,
All
yeah.
right.
From a very young age. I wrote a musical about Noah's Ark in the 5th grade.
Mr. J.J. Abrams, thank you for having me. It's an honor to be with you.
Thank you. Happy to talk to you.
It's really impressive that you get the chance to relaunch a franchise and also now giving a closure to an over 40 years old story. So in terms of storytelling and filmmaking, which was more challenging for you, to relaunch or to give this closure?
It was definitely harder to end the story because it's not just one movie or the end of 3 movies, it's the end of 9 movies. We all felt the responsibility. I can't wait for you to see what everyone's done. They did an amazing job.
Is your undoing.
So I believe that more than colleagues, like working every day on set, you have become like family, right? So in this scenario, in these family roles, who do you think is like more maternal, or the big brother, or the small sister?
I'd say John's the most maternal.
Yeah. I feel like I really felt like I'm the sister because these two are like brothers that are like rough and tumble and like,
It's probably like
love to wrestle and...
JJ's the mom.
JJ's the mom.
Yeah.
JJ's the mom. Yeah, because he's also he's a caregiver.
Yeah.
And has to wrangle us, but always stays positive and joyful. But
I think that each trilogy, it's remembered by something, like the first trilogy, it's the beginning of everything, like the Jedi's, the Force. The second one, it's like to see how a normal human can become a legendary villain. What would you like to be this franchise, this new trilogy, to be reminded for?
The story is sort of these new characters living in the aftermath of everything that we knew, the history. In some ways it's a revisiting of the themes that were familiar in the past. But for me the strongest thing is the question of family, the friends that you make, your own destiny, that you control your destiny.
And you have a lot of like action scenes, but also very emotional. So would you say it's harder to perform these like action scenes or the emotional part on the different scenes?
I think in general the emotional scenes are harder
Emotional.
because when you do the action stuff, you're training, you have a team, you know what you can do, and then adrenaline like helps you
Right.
probably perform a bit better. But with the emotional scenes, it can be hard to obviously. With JJ does a lot of takes, so it can be hard to
Sustaining
sustain the level
Right.
of intensity.
What are you doing there, 3PO?
Taking one last look, sir, at my friends.
There's this really important phrase on the trailer that says, "No one's ever really gone." So when did the team decided to bring back Palpatine?
This was something that was discussed years ago, but the decision to do it wasn't really mine until I got
Right.
the job. And then once I was working on the movie, it felt like if you look at the 9 films as 9 chapters. If you look at the story, there's a logic to it, a setup built in. It makes sense as to the return of Palpatine, but how that happens and what the story is, you should see the movie to understand. But
All right.
since these characters are dealing with sort of the issues of the prior generations, that to bring back in the flesh
Right.
a character that represented the ultimate evil of the past is the thing that made sense.
And can you share with me which one was one of your favorite scenes through all of the episodes to film?
I liked doing that running scene in the desert
Oh,
with all the
hard,
explosions
but
because
yeah.
it was hard, but it was like the first kind of Hollywood blockbuster test.
Yeah.
In my head,
While you were running, you felt
It
like,
was
"Oh,
running, but we had to keep a certain speed and a
Yeah.
certain distance,
And it was
we
fast.
were doing dialogue. And there were explosions going off. By the time the take was done, I'm like, oof, hey, this is legit Hollywood stuff.
Yeah.
Confronting fear. It's the destiny of a Jedi.
Was this like last film harder at that level of intensity than the previous episodes, or?
Different types of intensity.
Yeah.
There was more. It was much more dynamic this time. There was
yeah.
a lot more asked of us. A lot of
Yeah.
different facets of the characters that we got to play with in this film in particular, which I think is also why we were so engaged in a particular way, because we just get to all do more together.
When was the moment that you realized how big was your role on these films? I mean, I know it's Star Wars and everyone loves it and everything, but that moment when you said, wow, I'm really a part of this now.
Probably the conventions, I guess.
Yeah.
Because people are so warm and welcoming, and also usually you're not there when people are like watching you do your stuff, but to be in a room with people when like 3,000 people are watching a trailer or whatever, you're suddenly like, this
So cool.
is great.
Yeah, the vibe, right? It's crazy.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you guys, and may the force be with you.
This, as a finale, needs to give answers, and it needs to have conclusion.
All right, thank you, Mr. Abrams.
Thank you so much.
May the force be with you
And you.
always.
Thanks.